Hello, hello. Welcome to an early Saturday class. I'm just going to wait a couple of minutes for a few more people to join. We'll be starting in 1 or 2 minutes. So just hold with me for a second. Hello, everybody. Whew. We are back for the last Saturday class. It's today. After this, we're taking a break for the winter vacation. I was supposed to have a class last Saturday, but something happened with the schedule, and I missed it. So I'm sorry about that. But we're back today. And I'm here at 10 o'clock, and Professor Brandon Nolan will be here at 11 o'clock. So you still have one more opportunity to tune in and watch our classes. So today, what are we talking about? Today, we are talking about feeling impatient. And I know that I am the type of person who, even though I want to be patient and I want to be calm, I am often quite impatient. So I'm curious about you. Are you typically a patient person, or are you an impatient person? So of course, impatient means that you can't wait. You can't wait to do something. And usually this is quite negative. So if you're impatient, maybe you get annoyed, maybe other things bother you, you feel stress because you can't do something quickly. So, are you a patient person or an impatient person? And while I'm waiting for you to answer in the live chat, which I'm seeing nothing in the live chat yet, we'll see soon, I'd like to tell you a joke, a very silly, ridiculous 아재 gag, dad joke. So here's my joke. I'm going to type it in the live chat so you guys can see. What can you do if you're impatient and want to get more patience? Yeah, this is actually a joke. That's a very ridiculous, stupid joke, but I love those kinds of jokes the best. And the answer is, what can you do if you're impatient and want to get more patience? The answer is, build a hospital. Now, some of you are, I misspelled hospital. Some of you are probably wondering, what? Build a hospital? That doesn't make any sense. But what kinds of people come to hospitals? What kind of people come to hospitals? Patients. And patients sounds like patients. And that's where the joke comes. So if you build a hospital, patients will come. You will get lots of patients. So if you're a very impatient person and you want to get more patients, build a hospital. More patients will come. You'll get lots of patients. Ha, ha, ha. Okay, my next question is, when did you have your patience tested? When have you had a very difficult moment in your life when you had to be very patient, but it was very, very difficult to be patient? Have you ever had a time like that in your life? Waiting for some comments in the live chat. Has anyone had a moment in your life when you felt like your patience was tested? That means you had a very difficult situation. You had to wait, but it was not easy to wait. I'll tell you, one of my biggest times having to be patient was when my children were born, especially my first. The first was the hardest. We had to go to the hospital in the middle of the night, I think 1 or 2 a.m., and they immediately took my wife away, and I didn't see my wife for like, I don't know, hours, 3 or 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours maybe. And all I could do was wait. I kept trying to ask the nurses what's going on. They wouldn't tell me. And yeah, it was a very long, difficult wait. Just waiting, waiting, waiting. Not knowing what's happening, not knowing when it's going to be over. That's the worst, is when you don't have a time limit. You don't know when this thing will be over. Yeah, that was a very difficult patience time for me. That I had to be patient, but wow, I was stressed and didn't know how long it would take, and it was terrible. Good in the end, but terrible when I was experiencing it. Has anyone else had a time when your patience was tested? While I'm waiting for some comments about that, let's move on to the next question. Have you ever complained about a service or at a store or a restaurant? Have you ever been impatient at a restaurant or a store because maybe the waitress or waiter, the server, is not helping you fast enough? Or you order food at a restaurant, but it takes forever. It takes a long time for it to come. That's when you might feel impatient. And I get impatient with myself because I want to do things faster. I get impatient at circumstances, like I said, at the hospital when I had to wait. But I try not to get impatient at people, especially service workers, people who are working at stores and restaurants. They have a hard time. That's a difficult job. So I try not to be rude to people like that. They have a very difficult job. So have you ever are you a patient or impatient person? When is a time that you've had your patience tested? Or have you ever been impatient at a store worker or at a restaurant? If you've had any experience like this, type it in the live chat and I'll comment about it in a moment. But for now, let's move on to a comment about patience, a quote. So my quote is, "Patience is the support of weakness. Impatience, the ruin of strength." Patience is the support of weakness. Impatience is here is omitted, it's not necessary. Impatience, the ruin of strength. What do you think this means? What does this quotation mean? What is Charles Caleb Colton? What was he trying to say? I think that he was trying to say that even if you're a weak person, even if you have problems, if your patience that helps you become stronger. It supports your weaknesses. But if you're impatient, even if you're strong, even if you have lots of strength, if you're impatient, it's going to ruin you. It's going to destroy you. It's going to hurt you. So being patient will help you to become stronger, but being impatient will hurt you and make it more difficult for you. Okay, now that we've looked at that, now that we've looked at a quotation about patience, let's move on to some phrases that we can use to show impatience. Now I keep saying patient and impatient, patience and impatience. Before we start the phrases, please remember that patient is an adjective, patience is the noun. Same with impatient. Impatient is an adjective, impatience is a noun. So if I say I am impatient or I am an impatient person, we're using impatient as an adjective. Or maybe he has very little patience. That's a noun. Patience is a noun, patient is an adjective. So now let's look at some more phrases, more interesting phrases, maybe more colloquial, more commonly spoken phrases we can use to express patience or impatience. So the first is on edge, or on the edge of one's seat. Now, I included these two phrases together, but they are actually different in a way. On edge is usually more negative. On edge is usually more negative. It is to say that you are waiting for something maybe bad to happen, or you're very stressed because you're impatient. When I was waiting at the hospital, like I described before, when I had to wait at the hospital for my child to be born, you might have just heard one of my children crying. It's hard to keep quiet in this house. I was on edge. On edge means that I was impatient and stressed. I was very stressed. So on edge is more negative. On the other hand, on the edge of one's seat is impatient but excited. It's not negative. On the edge of one's seat means that you don't want to wait, but you're excited, you're interested. It's a good kind of impatience. Like when you're watching a very good suspense movie and you don't know what's going to happen next and you want to know what's going to happen next. That's on the edge of one's seat because you're literally leaning forward. You're really on the edge of your seat, trying to watch and trying to see what's going to happen in this movie. So on the edge is more negative. It's stressed and impatient. On the edge of one's seat is more positive. It's impatient but excited. Impatient but interested. So just be careful. These are similar, but one is more negative and one is more positive. So the sentence I have here is, this movie is so suspenseful. I'm on the edge of my seat. So let me think. When was the last time that I was on edge? I'm sure a lot of you will be on edge the day of your final exams. There are lots of final exams coming up soon for students. And I'm sure that that day, when you're waiting for the final exam to come, you will be on edge. You'll be impatient, wanting to finish the test, and also stressed out. On the edge of one's seat is usually used when we're talking about watching movies or hearing a story, hearing news. You want to know what's going to happen. You're excited. Impatient but excited. So if anyone can use one of these phrases in the live chat, that would be great. But for now, let's move on to the next phrase. And the next phrase is irritable. irritable. Now, irritable means to be annoyed, often because you're impatient. So you can see the example sentence I have here is, my father is so irritable in the morning. He hates everything and everyone. Some people are morning people, and some people are night people, maybe night owls. I am more naturally a night owl, I think, but I can be a morning person if I get in the habit, if I get in the routine. But lately, because of coronavirus, I'm at home all the time, and I'm not really going to the office very often, so I don't have to wake up early. So I'm not a morning person, and when I wake up in the morning, I am grumpy, I am irritable, I am not in a good mood. That means that you're not feeling good. Usually emotionally, maybe physically, and you're very easily annoyed because you're impatient. You're just not happy. You're just impatient, so you're irritable. Now, that root word irrit, like, can mean to bother someone. So an irritation, if an irritation could be like, it could be a problem with your skin. Maybe if you get bit by a mosquito, you have an irritation. You have something that itches. A person can be irritating. So if someone is always maybe you have a friend who never shuts up, who never stops talking. That can be irritating sometimes. So they can irritate you and make you impatient. So that is irritable. It means to be very easily impatient, and you just have zero patience. That's me in the morning. Okay, I have a comment in the live chat. Jiyoung Yoon says, coronavirus makes us irritable. Yes, it does. Coronavirus makes all of us irritable. It makes life so much harder. And I just heard the news, maybe I'm wrong, but I heard the news last night that there's going to be a new rule in Seoul that everything shuts down at 9 p.m. That's pretty crazy to me. Wow. Everything's going to shut down at 9 o'clock. Lights are off, stores are closed. That's amazing. But it's going to make a lot of people irritable because they want to go out. They want to do things. They want to enjoy their life. But we have to come together and work hard to keep everyone safe. I heard a very good analogy about us working together to keep safe from coronavirus. During World War II, so in the 1940s, so a long time ago, not coronavirus, World War II was happening, and the UK, England, was being bombed by the enemy and by Germany. And they would bomb cities, especially where they could see lights. If they could see the lights of a city, they would drop bombs there. They would send bombs over there. And so what people would do is they would turn off their lights at night. Everyone in the whole city had to turn off their lights. No bathroom lights, no bedroom lights. You weren't even allowed to light a cigarette outside because it could show light. So everyone had to work together because even if just one person turned on their light, it could make everyone be in more danger. So that's kind of like us. We all have to work together. We all have to come together and say, I know it sucks that we can't go outside after 9 p.m., but if we work together, maybe we can survive this better. So I like that analogy. Okay, so let's look at the next phrase, which is restless. So restless, it can mean a few different things, but we're using it here to be impatient because you want to do something now. If you really want to, I think a lot of people are feeling restless nowadays because of coronavirus. They want to go outside. They want to go eat at restaurants. They want to go to movie theaters. They want to go traveling again. That is restless. They want to be able to do things. So if you're feeling restless, it means that you don't want to rest. You don't want to sit down. You want to go do something right now. You're impatient to do something. So My example is my vacation is next week, but I'm so restless. I want to go now. So restless can mean that you want to go do something. You want to go outside, for example, but we can't because of coronavirus. We can't go and live like life like we used to. Restless can also mean more physically restless. If you're lying in bed at night and you really want to go to sleep, but you're just awake. Your brain is just wide awake. And you really want to go to sleep, but you can't. That is also called restless. You don't really want to do something. You want to go to sleep, but your brain wants to keep thinking. Your brain wants to keep, working. So that is also restless. So restless has a few different meanings, but here we're talking about you're impatient, you want to go do something, that's restless. So let me see. Ji Young Yoon says, similar to the edge of your seat. Is it similar to on the edge of your seat? Kind of. On the edge of your seat is more like you're watching something happening, or you're waiting to see what's going to happen, usually with a movie, or if a friend is telling you a really interesting story about something that happened to them. That is on the edge of your seat. You're waiting to hear or see what's going to happen. But restless is more active. I'm not listening to someone. I want to go and do something. I want to go outside. I want to go do this. So on the edge of your seat is more passive. I'm listening and I want to know what's going to happen. Restless is I want to go do something. It's more active. Let's see. Next is to grow impatient, ing. So this space should be for a verb. So to grow impatient waiting, to grow impatient sleeping, to grow impatient talking, it can be a verb. And it means to be annoyed at a specific action, usually like waiting. We usually say waiting here. So to grow means to get more and more and more. You grow taller, you grow bigger. But this is your impatience is growing. So if you look at my example sentence, John is growing impatient, waiting for the winter to end. He hates the cold weather. So it means as the winter goes on and on and on, the longer that winter is, the more impatient John becomes. His impatience is growing as he waits for winter to end. Maybe little children grow right now, December, little children are growing impatient, waiting for Christmas to come. They really want Christmas to come because Christmas is coming soon, and it's not as big of a holiday here as it is back in the US or the UK, but it's still pretty big here. It's still, I make a big deal of it. We have a big Christmas celebration at my home. To grow impatient waiting. I am growing impatient waiting to decorate my house. Actually, after I teach this YouTube class, the rest of the day is for decorating my apartment with Christmas decorations and a new Christmas tree. And I'm growing impatient waiting to do that. I really want to decorate my house and listen to Christmas music, and it's going to be fun. Okay, next phrase is to be impatient for. So after for, we're going to have a noun. So I am impatient for Christmas. I want Christmas to come. Kids are impatient for their birthdays. They want their birthdays to come. They want those birthday presents. Adults, we're not so impatient for birthdays. We don't want more birthdays. We don't want our age to go up, 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 up. So to be impatient for something means that you can't wait for it. You want it to happen soon. So you might be annoyed. It's not, my definition here says to be annoyed because you're ready for something to happen, but it's not always negative. It could just mean that I want it to happen. Kind of like on the edge of your seat, kind of like restless. It's like, I want to do this. I just really can't wait anymore. I really want to do this. So I wrote that it means annoyed, but it's not always so negative. It could just mean that you really want to do it. So my example is, I'm really impatient for a wedding. I just want to be married already. So that would mean that you can't wait for your wedding. Your wedding's coming soon and you really, 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 really want to have your wedding. You're restless. You're tired of waiting. So yes, it can be positive. And yes, Jiyoung Yoon, my one student who's commenting in the live chat, I think my children enjoy Christmas here. I think they are glad. Let's see the next phrase, which is to be about time. Oh my goodness. So this phrase shows impatience at an event that occurred later than the speaker expected. So a phrase that shows impatience at an event that occurred later than the speaker expected. So let me look at the example sentence here and then I'll explain it more. It's about time you arrived. You're 20 minutes late. It's about time you arrived. You're 20 minutes late. So this it's about time means, wow, I can't believe I had to wait that long. So if I'm meeting my friends at, let's say 1 o'clock for lunch, and I'm at the restaurant at 1 o'clock, but my friends don't show up, my friends don't come until 1:30, they're late, I can say, it's about time, like you're late. So it's about time is a way to show that you're impatient, that something happened later than it should have. Yes, Jiyoung Yoon is saying that I've heard this expression so many times in movies. It's very colloquial. It's we say it a lot just naturally, just in conversation. It's about time. It's also the name of a movie, About Time, which is interesting. I like when movies do that the movie is about time. It's all about time travel. It's about time. But it also means that, wow, it took too long for this to happen. It's about time. So the title of the movie has two meanings. I like when movies do that. A lot of movies have that kind of title going on, that the title has 2 or 3 different meanings. Okay, so to be about time. It's about time you arrived. It's about time this happened. It's about time. It's about time for us to have a coronavirus vaccine. It's about time. We've been waiting too long. Okay, next phrase. Hurry up, let's go. I'm sure that all of you have heard this before. Hurry up, let's go. So these are set phrases, meaning that we just don't change them. We don't say it differently. It's almost like one word, even though it's not one word, but we treat it like one word. Hurry up, let's go. These are set phrases that tell the listener to go more quickly. Hurry up, let's go. So my conversation here says, friend 1 says, can you wait a few minutes? I need to change clothes. And friend 2 replies, there's no time for that. Let's go. So let's go. Hurry up. These are phrases I'm sure that you already know. But they're showing impatience. They're showing that, nope, we can't wait. I don't have the patience for this. We don't have the time for this. We need to go right now. Hurry up. And of course, there's that Korean joke that you're back, hurry up. I love hot eggs. Okay, next phrase. On the double, chop, chop. These both have similar meanings. On the double is actually military speak. It means to double the time. So it means if you're marching, if you're walking, you double the time, you go faster. Chop, chop. Chop, chop is usually accompanied with clapping. Usually, if we say chop, chop, we clap at the same time. Chop, chop. Come on, chop, chop. It's just something we do. And both of them just mean go faster. Go, 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 go. Fast, 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 faster. They both mean that. On the double, chop, chop. And there's really no difference between them. I mean, on the double originally came from the military, but we don't use it like that. I mean, they do use it in the military, but we use it colloquial in everyday language just to mean go faster. Chop, chop, on the double. I would say that personally I use chop, chop more often. It sounds a little bit, maybe tiny bit more childish, but it's what I use more often. So yeah, these are set phrases that tell the listener to go more quickly. So for example, in my conversation, the woman says, we will never get to the restaurant. Chop, chop. Friend, I am going as fast as I can. So you're trying to go fast. So yeah, on the double and chop chop, these are not used, and they're two different sentences. You could use them together, but they are two different sentences. So you would need to have a period between them. But on the double, chop chop, let's go. You could say all three of those. You could say like, come on the double, chop chop, let's go. That would be very like natural to do it like that. And clap in the middle too. On the double, chop chop, let's go. You would say, on the double means go quickly. Chop chop, go quickly. And let's go means we need to go now. I'm impatient. So that'd be a very natural thing to say. On the double, chop chop, let's go. Because usually when you're impatient, you're talking faster too. Because you want to go. You want to go faster. Oh yeah, combination expression. Okay, next, catch up. So this is a phrase that tells the listener to come quickly and match the speaker's pace. So if I'm going quickly, if I'm in a hurry, then, and my friend is going too slowly, usually what happens is my wife is in a hurry. My wife wants to go quickly, but I walk too slow. I walk too slowly, and she'll say, oh, come on, hurry up. We need to go. Hurry up. Catch up. You need to catch up. So it's like I need to go faster because the person talking to me is impatient. They want me to catch up to them. They want me to hurry up. So yes, this is a phrase that tells the listener to come quickly and match the speaker's pace. So my example here is the sister says, you were walking too fast. And the brother says, you had better catch up or I will leave you behind. So the brother's saying, you need to come faster. You need to go faster. Hurry up, catch up. So catch up, not like the condiment, not like what you put on hot dogs. Wow, I like mustard on hot dogs. Okay, next one. This is one that I don't think you've heard. I'm curious for the people in the live chat. Have you heard this one before? Have you heard hold your horses? Has anyone heard this before I explain what this means? Have you ever heard of hold your horses? This is, it seems old-fashioned. It feels like it's old-fashioned, and maybe it is. But it's actually still pretty common in the US. I don't think it's common in the UK. But in the US, we still say this, especially to children. So I believe it comes from hundreds of years ago when people rode on horses instead of driving cars. And if your horse wants to go faster, you need to hold your horse back. You need to stop your horse from going. You need to wait, basically. Hold your horse means don't let your horse go right now. Wait. And that's what we say. We say this phrase, especially to children. I guess you could say it to adults, but it's very, very informal and very, I don't know why, it sounds very childish nowadays, even though it wouldn't come from children riding horses, but it's a phrase that we more often use with children than with adults. And it just means wait, be patient, just wait. And if you have young children, you always have to say wait, just wait a moment and I'll do it. I have 2 young children. I'm always saying wait. So hold your horses is something we say in America to children to mean just wait a minute, just wait. So yeah, it's a set phrase that tells an impatient listener to calm down and to wait. So in my example, the husband says, are you almost ready? We need to go. And the wife says, hold your horses. We still have time. So it can be used between adults, but definitely not like in a formal situation. Definitely only among friends or family. Not as common between adults, usually used with children. Yeah, very hard to educate young children. Yeah. So yeah, hold your horses. Just wait a minute. So, Soyuk said, A says, chop chop, please. We wouldn't usually say please with chop chop. Chop chop is not a nice please thing. It's just like, that'd be like saying shut up, please. It's not very common to say please with shut up. But chop chop. And B says, hold your horse, man. But it's not hold your horse, it's hold your horses. It's always plural. Always, always, always horses. Even if you're just talking to one person, it's always hold your horses. I don't know why. Sorry, I don't know why it's always plural. That's just the set phrase. That's just where it comes from. Okay, let's see. Next, so we've looked at some good phrases. Now we have about 25 minutes left. I want to look more closely at auxiliary verbs. So auxiliary verbs are also called modal verbs, or they're called helping verbs. They're called helping verbs because they help the main verb. These go before the main verb. So many of you already know how to use modal verbs, such as should, might, will, can, could, do, did, etc. In this lesson, we will look at a few modals that you might not know. I hope you know these, but let's just look at these and see which ones you know and which ones you don't. So the first is used to. So we place used to in front of a bare infinitive. So most of you, I hope, know what an infinitive is. An infinitive is a verb with to in front of it, like to go, to eat, to meet, to see. A bare infinitive means, well, no to, just eat, see, go, meet. That's all that a bare infinitive is. It's just the verb. Not past tense, not future tense, just the verb. Eat, go, see, meet. So place used to in front of a bare infinitive to express an action that was commonly done in the past but is not performed anymore. So it's something that was very common to do in the past more than one time. It's not something you did one time. This is something you used to do as a habit or as a routine. So here are some examples. When I was a kid, I used to ride a bicycle. Now I only drive a car. So maybe when you were children, you rode bicycles often. You rode it a lot. You could say, when I was a kid, I used to ride a bicycle. Or number two, I used to eat lots of fast food, but I'm much healthier nowadays. Or number three, John used to be a good friend. Now he's not. In the past, he was a good friend for a long time. Now he's not. Or number four, my friends used to visit all the time. Nowadays, I'm always alone. Could you write a sentence in the live chat using used to? I'll wait a minute or two. Please write a sentence in the live chat using used to. You can even look at my example sentences to get an idea of what you want to write. But I'll wait a moment and hopefully a couple of students will comment. Let's see. Trying to think of things that I used to do. Well, because of coronavirus, there's a lot of things I used to do. I used to go to the gym quite often, 4 days a week. Now I don't go to the gym because I feel like it's too much of a risk. So I used to go to the gym. I used to exercise a lot. Now I'm getting lazy. I want to go back to the gym. I used to see my family a lot when I lived near my family. Now, of course, I don't. I live in Korea, quite far away from my parents and brothers. I used to have more time to watch movies and TV. Now I don't. What is something that you used to do in the past, but not anymore? While I'm waiting for people to answer that, let's move on to the next modal, which is do, does, did. Now, I'm sure that you're familiar with these, especially when asking questions or saying negative sentences. For example, did you eat breakfast? I mean, that's a very common sentence. Did you eat breakfast? Did you do this? Or negative, I didn't eat breakfast. But if it's positive, as you know, we would not use did. We would say, I ate breakfast. I saw a movie. So we don't normally use do, does, or did as a modal verb in a positive sentence. However, you can use do, does, or did before a main verb as a modal verb in a positive affirmative sentence if you're showing emphasis, if you really want to show emphasis. So, if, for example, your mom wants you to eat more vegetables. If you're a kid and your mom wants you to eat more vegetables, and your mom says, you didn't eat any vegetables yesterday, so you can't have dessert. The kid could say, I ate vegetables yesterday. I did. I ate vegetables yesterday. Or to show strong emphasis, the child could say, I did eat vegetables yesterday, Mom. I did eat vegetables. So you can use did, do, or does in an affirmative positive sentence to show emphasis. I did do my homework shows emphasis. So this is a way that you can use these modal verbs in a way you've never thought of it before. So instead of saying he often exercises, if you want to show emphasis, you say he does often exercise. He does. Or my friends love me. You could say my friends do love me. They really do. You made a mistake could be you did make a mistake. Don't lie to me. You did make a mistake. This is showing emphasis, usually because the other person you're talking to doesn't believe you. So if someone believes you didn't eat breakfast, they'll say, you never eat breakfast. I did eat breakfast. I did. You use this to show emphasis. Okay, let's look. Ji-Young-Yoon says, I used to go out without a mask. Yes, we all did. It seems so strange not to wear a mask now. It feels like I'm naked, like I need my mask on, or I don't feel like I'm wearing all of my clothes. Unju Shin said, I used to read a lot, but now I watch more TV. I think every day, yeah. I watch too much Netflix and YouTube. I should be reading more. I read, I just not enough. Never enough. Every day with masks like a weapon. Yeah. We have to have our masks, don't we? Okay, let's look at the next modal verb. Have or has to, or have or has got to. So use these modals in front of bare infinitives to show a logical inference. So I'm sure that you've heard of have or has to and have or has got to mean something you need to do. Like, I have got to exercise. I have to exercise. I'm feeling so lazy. Or I have to eat something. I'm so hungry. So have or have got to, has or has got to, we often use it to show something we should do or something we need to do. But what I'm talking about here is not that. This is to show a logical inference. So let me show you the example sentences and you'll kind of understand better what I'm talking about. So if you look at the examples, it rained all night. The ground has to be muddy, or the ground has got to be muddy. I'm not saying that the ground should be muddy or needs to be muddy. It's not the same thing. Not like